Hey everybody, it's Steve. Welcome back. Today we're going to tackle a problem that has really been bugging me for a while. The thing is, when you sit in this recently repaired reclining sofa and you're trying to watch television at night, and if this light has been left on, it casts an annoying reflection in the television. And last thing I want to do at that point is get up out of my chair and go turn off the switch. So what we're going to do is we're going to install an Amazon smart switch right here, so that I can just tell Alexa to turn off the light. Luckily, this is something that even I can do. One thing before we get started. What we're working on today is called a single pole light switch. It controls one fixture from one switch. In contrast to a three-way switch, like one that you might find on a stairwell. So here we have a switch at the bottom of the stairs, and then when you go up to the top of the stairs, there's a second switch, can turn the light on and off as well. So that's a different kind of wiring, and so we're not going to be talking about that today. This is a single pole, one switch for one light. All right, the switch we're going to replace is this one right here. And the first thing we need to do before we do anything else is to turn off the power at the main breaker. We don't want to be messing with these wires with the power on. Okay, we'll check all our switches. Definitely the power is off, so we're good there. Now we're going to remove our plate. Unfortunately, this one has 8 screws, kind of a pain, but luckily I am the fastest in the business. Here we go. Okay, there we go. All right, the switch we want to replace is this one here. And again, make sure your power is off. You can do a test if you want. Make sure that there is no power here. I have one of these little volt readers. Feed that in there. And we don't show power. If you have power, you'll get a beeping red light there. All right, next thing we'll do is I'm going to pop out these 2 screws. So there's our old switch. It's held on by these 3 wires. In this case, 2 blacks, and then one that has no cover at all. You might see it in your house with a green wire or bare copper, depends on how they've done it. And right away we can see that it doesn't line up with our new Amazon switch. Our new switch has a green, a white, a red, and a black. Here we have 2 blacks and a bare copper wire. So I can tell you right away that the bare copper wire, that is going to be the ground. That's going to line up with the green ground wire on the new switch. You'll see that the bare copper wire is connected to a green screw in almost every case. So that should be a good indicator. Your switch might have also green plastic on the outside of it, or it might be bare, depending on what they've done. So now we have our 2 black wires that are coming in. One of those is what we call the line. Feeds electricity into the switch from your main panel, and then the load wire, which is where it's going out to your fixture, your light. All right, so right now the light is in the off position and we don't have any power because we turned the power off. Let's go turn the power on real quick and we'll do a quick test. All right, so our power is back on and we're going to put the switch in the off position. So we have power, so we'll turn it off. And the side that has no power is going to be your load. So if I take my little tester here and I'll come up on the right side, I'm not going to get any power. That is the load side. At the same time, if we come to the other side and we do a test over here, and we will see that that is our line side and it is the hot side. So that is where our power is coming in. This is the hot wire and this is the wire that goes out. It doesn't have power right now because the switch is off. If we turned our switch on, now we should have power on both sides. Yep. Yeah. All right, so we turn our switch off and all right, everything checks out. So we will go back and we'll turn our power off again. We're going to remove these wires and we'll mark them so that we know which one is which. Okay, so I've shown you which one is the black wire and which one is the red wire and which one is the green wire. But we still have our white wire. That is what is called the neutral. Depending on when your house is built, they did not necessarily need to use a neutral in the house wiring. If you don't have a neutral, then you better call an electrician because this is going to be a job that's going to be beyond what we can do here today. But like my house, it does have a neutral. It's just not employed with the current switch. The Amazon Smart Switch needs the neutral to power the wizardry they have going on in here. So we need to find where that white wire is. And what has happened here, and I pulled all 3 switches out so I could get to it, is that as the power has come in from the box, you'll see these big white cables here in the back. Each one of those is going to have the 3 wires, a black, a white, and a green, or in this case, bare copper. So what they've done is they've taken all the white wires from the 3 switches and the wires that have come in here, and they've all grouped them together here under this one red cap. So all these white wires from the multiple switches here under one. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this cap, and then on our new switch, we're going to feed that in and make it a additional wire that is into these neutrals to make it work. We're going to mark our switch here. So we tested this is where the power is coming from the wall. So that is our line. So we'll mark that with a black label. And that is provided to us from Amazon. So we have that. And then we have our red load that we'll put over here. And in case you somehow forget that the bare copper wire is the green one, we can mark that with our green piece of tape. And then we will remove our 3 wires. In this case, it's just a screw. And once you loosen the screw, the wire should pull free. Same thing on this side. There are some that have a different connecting method where they punch the wire in through a hole in the back, so you're going to need like a paper clip. I'll show you that in a second. All right, so here's just a second example of a switch we have here in this house. The wires are hot right now, and so the switch is in the off position. Once again, we'll test to see which side is the load and which side is the line. If you come over here, there's no power. That's going to be the load side, and then we have our line on that side, so that's consistent. But you'll notice that the wires plug in instead of connecting on a screw. So that's just a different way of doing it. It's called a quick connect, I believe. And we're going to use, in this case, probably a paper clip to punch it out. And then I'll show another example in a minute where I use a watch screwdriver to punch out the wire. So otherwise, pretty much the same setup. And then here, instead of a big group of white wires, we have just 3 white wires. So same thing, this will be our white. We'll unscrew this red cap and connect there. All right, if you take a look at the back of the switch, you're going to see the 2 black wires go into these little circular holes, and then next to each of the holes is a little slot. You'll see printed on the switch, in most cases, actual language that says press here to release. So we're going to use a little watch screwdriver that fits nicely into this hole, and it requires a lot of pressure, and it would be nice to have 3 hands, but we're going to drop that in there, and there we go, that releases. And then the other side, so you can see what's in there, it won't come out until you press the release. So you stick that in there, push hard, and there we go, that's released. All right, and now we're back, and let's remove our ground. Again, that's just a screw there. All right, so there's our old switch off. All right, we're going to connect our new switch. So at this point, the power should still be off. And so we are going to connect our neutral, and that's the one that is this bound set here. And if you don't have that, great, you can just connect it to the white wire. So we're just going to put that here. We're going to slide that in, and we'll wrap that nice and tight. You want to make sure that it grabs it and it's in there tight. You don't need any loose wires. Okay, next we're going to take our black and we're going to connect that with our black, which is the line. And we'll put those together, and we'll take our cap that's provided with the switch. Make sure that both wires are inserted in there nice and securely, and we'll twist. We'll twist them nice and tight. And then we'll take our 2 reds, our load and our red, and cap those. And make sure the wires are in there nice and snug. And twist. And then finally, our green and our ground. So the same thing here. Those two wires together inside our cap. And make sure those are tight. All right, so we should be good to go. Let's go turn our power on before we do anything, and we will test our switch. Okay, our power is back on, so we'll take a look at our switch here. And I don't know if you can see it, but there is actually a very subtle green flashing light that is indicating that the switch is getting some power. We'll do a push, and sure enough, we have light. So that is working for us, and we are ready to put everything back in the wall, which will be real fun since we've got all these wires now in a big mess. All right, and right away too, once that switch kicked in there, my watch is showing that the Amazon has detected it. So you can, we'll go later to set that all up, but there it is. All right, so before I put all these wires back in there, I did turn the power back off. I don't like to mess around in here in case I accidentally touch some wires together or touch live wires with my finger. So I made sure the power is off, and now we can push everything back in here and screw everything back where it belongs. All right, turn our power back on, and let's see. There's our light. Everything is working, so we are good to go. And we just need to put our plate back on, so we'll do that. Now, one thing you might find is that the switches aren't lined up quite correctly, so it does sometimes take a little bit of trial and error to make sure that you've got them in the right spot. If they aren't in the right spot, just loosen the screws slightly. You'll make an adjustment and then try your plate again. So we'll put this back on. Okay, our switch plate is back on. Everything is ready to go. We just need to head to our Amazon Alexa app and get this switch set up. So we're in our app. We're going to hit plus in the upper right hand corner. We're going to add a device, and it is a switch, Amazon Basics, and it is the switch, single pole or three-way. We'll worry about the camera access later, so we'll hit later. And we're going to reset our switch by putting it in the pairing mode. So press and hold the power button until we see a green and red flash. All right, and then we'll hit next. It's looking for the switch. It says to make sure that it is powered on. And there it is. We're going to switch it to connect it to our Google account, which is my Wi-Fi here. And it is connecting. So this may take up to a minute. Let's see how long it takes. Up here it says new switch named first switch, and to control it, Alexa turn on first switch. So one Amazon Basic switch found and connected. Next. And where is our where is our switch? It is in the well, I call this the dining room. We'll add that to the group. Continue, and it's ready to use. Done. Here I am watching TV with this darn glare on my light, but now it's not a problem. Alexa, turn off the dining room light. There we go. All right, well, that's all we have for today. If you thought this video was helpful, please hit that like button and, of course, subscribe. I have links down below for the switch that we installed. And if there's anything else out there that you need fixed around your house, want a video on it, let me know in the comments below or send us an email at thingsevenICanDo@gmail.com. Until next time, this has been Steve for Things That Even I Can Do.